What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Panthers Advice. Today, man, obviously we're going to break down some film. Definitely a lot better looking this week. All right, still I think a few things to work out, but much better this week than last week. However, there were some plays I saw that were implemented last week that they actually started off the game early. All right, this week they went to those right away. All right, we're going to go over those. We're going to go over some of the bad plays by Bryce Young. I think we had one or maybe two of the sacks on here. And one was supposed to be potentially a QB draw. It didn't make much sense. And then I think Bryce Young's biggest mistake is eyeing a certain receiver. All right, I think we all know who that is. So we're going to look at all that stuff, man. Let's get into the film. So first play right here. We're going to see a doubles look right here. All right, Chuba in the backfield. Bryce Young watches. It looks like the backer. All right, number 10. He's going to drop straight back. The second Bryce Young sees that. All right, he's going to work his way to the right. All right, sees DB sitting on that with Sanders. He's like, okay, if that's the case, Coker, bang. I trust him 9 times out of 9, 10 times out of 10. I like what Bryce does right here. Progresses to his reads 1, 2, bang, to 3. First down, 3rd and 7. Good play right there. Let's check out play number 2 right here. The first thing to look at, all right, is Sanders going in motion. Now, this may or may not look familiar to you, all right, if you watch the video or not, all right, last week. This was supposed to happen against the Niners, all right? So, Chuba, a little swing pass right there. You needed Sanders to block for you in front. Sanders whipped on the block, all right? And then I think it was, what, 4th down or 3rd down? All right, Panthers were forced to either turn it over or kick the field goal. But right here, look what happens. Sanders steals right there to a point, and there goes Chuba to the house. Like I said before, some of the plays we saw last week against the Niners, very early on, all right, they ran with it. And what I like right here is it's also a design of what they did with Jimmy Horn, all right? Because remember Jimmy Horn last time, they brought him in motion to start the game early, try and push the DBs back. They didn't bite back, and then Panthers lost yards. So they tried the same thing here, all right? You bring Sanders in motion, and this is what you want, all right? They're not ready to block like that, all right? So bang, you get Leggett out there, you get Sanders out there, give you a couple okay blocks, and there goes Chuba taking it to the crib. Not too bad. Let's keep it going. 1st and 10 right here. All right, a little bit of motion from Leggett. All right, RPO. Bryce Young with a nice little toss right here. Now, this play, all right, it got you, what, 9, 10 yards right here. However, what I liked right here from Bryce Young was this. How many times have we seen Bryce Young, whether it's an RPO, a play action, he's going to roll out to his right, right, and it's basically your Y cross, not now on that, right, your Y cross, and Bryce Young tries to force it. I don't know how many times he tried to force it to Leggett, Deontay Johnson. I mean, you've seen it a lot over the last 3 years. But right here, you're going to see he recognizes everything's picked up. He's going to go up, get that defender to bite, and then bang, dump it off to Mitchell Evans. Bryce Young, to me, is showing a lot of progress, all right, and maturing in the offense. Okay, now, consistency is obviously a big thing, right? And last week, you know, I go back and forth on. But right here was a big thing because old Bryce Young may have tried to force it, tried to potentially thrown it right here, backside to Leggett. But I like what he does right there, gets that defender to bite, bang, dumps it off. Big play right there, all right, for more reasons than one. Let's keep it going. And now we're going to jump to the second quarter, about 11 minutes left. I hope to see more of this from the Panthers. Now, obviously, you can't do it too much, or otherwise the defense will catch on. But I think Bryce Young had a 24, 23-yard run right here. I mean, teams are selling out to stop the run against the Panthers, right? Look at this. They're all over there on that right side. All right, run that back real quick. They are selling out to stop the run. Now, here's the thing with Bryce Young. He could throw it right here, all right, and hit what, Trimble? You could hit Trimble right here potentially. Or just keep it and run it. All right, another thing to me that's maturing from Bryce Young is this right here. Old Bryce Young, all right, would be contemplating throwing it right here. Do I throw it? Do I run it? Do I throw it? Do I run it? I like right here, all right? He makes up his mind. All right, 40 to the 50, 45, 40, 35-yard line. Let's keep this thing going. So far, we've seen a lot from Bryce Young. Now, they're not obviously huge plays, but you're seeing him kind of mature, all right, as this season's going. Let's keep it going right here. You got T-Mac going in motion. Bryce Young's going to drop back. Now, To me, this is still a weakness of his, and I don't know if it's a weakness because I have been one of the advocates for it. And what am I talking about right here? Kind of forcing the ball to T-Mac. I've been saying that since, week 2, week 3. So I can't sit here and, almost criticize this throw right here since I've been advocating for it. But you're seeing probably a cover 3 look right here. All right. Which means middle field's closed, right? And so if you see that, it's like, okay, let's try and get the safety to bite left, come back right. If Bryce Young looks to the right here, if he looks to the right, Coker's open. Coker's got 6 on the board. However, what's Bryce Young trying to do? He's trying to force it to T-Mac right there on the out and under, right? This was the design play to look at. So if you watch right here, cover 3 look, T-Mac's going out, right? So look right here. T-Mac running that out route. DB's going to see that. So he's like, okay, I don't need to play that right there. Defender 1 or 2 can drop down, play the out route. Let me go up here, all right, and play that instead. And there goes T-Mac on the backside. The play in theory works good. Unfortunately, that DB read it pretty quick, right? He's watching Bryce Young right here. He sees him throwing it right there to T-Mac. So I go back and forth on this play. I mean, it was potentially there, but if Bryce Young looks to his right after he gets the safety to bite, Coker's got 6 on the board. So this one I kind of go back and forth on. Let me know your thoughts. Let's keep it going, though. Overall, I like the play call and the design. Just let's keep our options open, baby. Let's keep it going. Next play we're going to look at right here. All right, we're in that 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight end set, and Mitchell Evans. Ooh, we run a screen. Get the big boys out and block. Get the big boys out and block. All right, good stuff right there. Mitchell Evans, man. Week after week, I keep telling you, he's good for getting you, 7 to 10 yards every catch. All right, tight end screen, it actually works. Blocking, if Sanders could have sealed that, it's tough. All right, it's tough right there. But Mitchell Evans, man, as a rookie, he's doing everything you need him to do. To me, he's basically kind of the Adam Thielen of this offense to a point. I know, obviously, Adam Thielen contributed way more than Mitchell Evans, but, Evans is a tight end. But that's just kind of the vibe I get from Mitchell Evans. Kind of do right by the book with everything. Good stuff right there. And as we keep it going, 36 seconds left he'll have. And Bryce Young, unfortunately, takes the sack right here. This one gets complicated, okay, because empty backfield set right here. He's looking to the right. So since this defender right here isn't going to go and play over the top with T-Mac, he's going to drop down right here, right? So Bryce Young can't go underneath. Next thing to look at is T-Mac on the corner route. That's going to get picked up right there, and you're going to see Bryce Young is going to see that pretty early too. What Bryce Young needed T-Mac to do is basically sit right there in the zone. Probably just need more of an option route right here. All right. Go right, up, left, or just sit in general. But, things happen. Bryce Young takes one of his 2 sacks right there. Let's keep it going. All right. Jump to the third quarter. 3rd and 5 right here. A little bunch look on that left side. Bryce Young. Woo! Whipping that thing to Coker on 3rd and 5, man. Coker, he showed out. He showed out big time. Let's take another look at this real quick. So once again, you're going to see Jimmy Horn being used for motion. And basically, that's going to tell Bryce Young, all right, what defense are the Rams in? It's going to be hard for them to be in a kind of a zone man look, all right, all on one side, right, kind of a zone match look. So if that defender is going to run with Jimmy Horn, that pretty much tells Bryce Young, all right, it's man coverage. And if that's the case, all right, he can either go underneath Sanders right there or go right there to Coker, as you're going to see. Bada bing, bada boom. A tough throw to make, but Jimmy Horn, you're seeing, even though he's not showing up in the stat sheet, you can definitely see how Dave Canales is using him right there. Good stuff right there, man. Let's keep it going. Next play, what are we looking at right here? 4th and 3 right here. I got to say, I don't know if I remember this play. Let's take a look right here. All right, let's take a look right here. 3-by-1 set. 4th and 3 on the 33. Oh, this was a touchdown. Yep. This was the touchdown right here. Run that back real quick. Run that back. Now, what's interesting about this play is I think Bryce Young, he's going to motion Sanders to that left side. When he does that, take a look. So we got 2 high look right here. He's going to motion Sanders. All right. Safety's going to drop down. Safety's going to drop down over here. Bryce Young's going to look at Bryce Young. He's going to see that, right? So from a too high look, all right, run that back real quick. Safety's playing over here. Now he's going to go over here. Let's keep it going, keep it going. So now it's middle field closed. All right, but if Coker gets to the outside, it's GG's. And watch the safety right here. He's going to creep to the middle. Look at him. He's going to creep to the middle right there. Still creeping to the middle. Bryce Young sees that. Come on, man. Come on, man. All because of that motion right there, right? He's going to motion Sanders to that left side. They drop into a single high look. All right, Bryce Young sees that. Safety screaming to the middle, right? And there goes Bryce Young. Woo, woo, woo. Looking good, baby. Let's keep it going. And then right here, 4 minutes, 19 seconds left in the third quarter. And who else? Mitchell Evans right here. What I like about Mitchell Evans, all right, is that he's basically going to slow down a lot on this route. All right, he's that check down. He's underneath. He can't go too fast. All right, slowly but surely. And then bang, gets the first down right there. Good stuff, Mitchell Evans. 2nd and 16 right here. Okay, this was the biggest, what I want to call this play. The biggest head scratcher, I guess, as I'm doing this right here. For more reasons than one, because, I don't obviously know what play they were calling. But what I want to look at is right here, Corbett, he's what? A yard, 2 yards down the field, right? For the line of scrimmage. Run that back real quick. So give or take, all right? So snap the ball real quick, all right? Snap the ball. 1, 2. All right, Corbett's essentially 2 yards across. Bryce Young can't throw the ball right here, right? Because Corbett's already downfield. All right, you got blocks right there. Was this supposed to be a QB draw on 2nd and 16? It's hard to say because you got the tight end screen. All right, down here with Tremble. This is tough. This is tough, to be honest with you, because Bryce Young doesn't even really look at Tremble. He looks at him to start with, and then that's it, right? And then you got Corbett, 2 yards down the field at what, 2 seconds? It's tough. Let me know your thoughts, but I mean, he looks at Tremble for a second. And then looks to go to T-Mac, but look, T-Mac goes to block right here. All right, Corbett right there. Did they really call a QB draw on 2nd and 16? I mean, maybe they did to try and get field goal range, right? Make it an easier third down. Seems like an kind of an odd play. All right, let me know your thoughts on that. Let's keep it going, though. This was interesting because now it's 3rd and long, all right? But 2nd and 9, all right, 9 minutes, 20 seconds left. Bryce Young's dropping back. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Dump it off right there. And there goes Rico, man. Getting a huge, huge first down right there. Bryce Young back under center. Play action. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Easy money on 4th and 2. Easy money on 4th and 2 before we get to the last play. What's crazy right here is this play was this close from, being unsuccessful. One, Chuba. Huge block right here from Chuba. Right, play action, bang. That gives Bryce Young a nice pocket right there. The next thing to look at is as that just happened, Leggett and T-Mac are this close from a huge collision with each other. Right, because if you take a look right here, the defense is forcing Leggett to stay in. Right, they're not letting him get to the outside. So he's going to shove him right there. Linebacker is basically a nice little shoulder tap right. And look at this right here. That close. If this linebacker doesn't slow down Leggett a little bit, they may have ran into each other. And if they run into each other, I don't know what the Panthers do. I mean, maybe he could hit Coker. Maybe he tries to run for it. It would have been close. But you see right there, T-Mac taking that thing in for 6. And then our last play right here is going to be Coker on that 3rd down conversion. Woo! Looking good. Looking good, looking good, looking good. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Panthers device is out. Let me know your thoughts on the Panthers offense. I thought it looked improved from last week. All right, drop in the comments. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.